Representative Edelson, would you like to, I'm sorry, Chair Edelson, would you like to move to have your bill laid over for possible inclusion?
Chair, yes, I would.
Thank you. Go ahead.
Great. Chair and members, the Youth Intervention Program, also known as YIP, are community-based approaches that that reverse the growth of state government by helping young people growing up with toxic stress, trauma, and abuse. The data demonstrates that with adult support, youth stabilize, plan for the future, stay out of trouble, and prepare for adulthood. The outcome is self-sufficient, contributing adults instead of the likely lifelong consumers of the public services. About half of youth served by YIP are in the 7-county metro area and are about half in greater Minnesota. In 2017, 59% of youth served were girls, 58% were between 13 and 17 years old, and 62% were youth of color. In 2017, 72 YIP grants were awarded to 70 different youth-serving organizations. The average grant was $40,621, yet 14,590 youth received intervention services. The average cost per youth was $200. The break-even summary handout shows that, and those should be in your packets, members, shows that only 2.5% of these youth have to become productive adults for YIP to pay for itself. Any more than that is money back in the state's pocket. Youth intervention programs, YIP, again, needs in Minnesota, and the need of it needs legislative support. Roughly $18 million per biennium was requested in 2015, the last time the Minnesota Office of Justice Programs issued a request for the proposal. The yearly YIP allocation is $6.5 million per biennium. The $11.5 million gap in youth intervention leads to chronic use of adult intervention programs at higher cost, literally billions of dollars each year. House Bill 665 reforms how we support youth to become productive adults. Requests an additional $11.5 million appropriation for YIP. 57,500 more youth will be served via this YIP funding. Members, this is a bipartisan piece of legislation with many of the authors from both parties because each and every one of us know, myself included, that these are effective programs that work. I am truly honored to present this bill before you today. I would now like to call my first testifier, Stacy Kohler.
Ms. Kohler, state
Did I
your
say that
name for
right?
the
I
record.
apologize, Stacy.
It's Collier.
Collier, French.
It's new. I just recently was married, so.
Oh, are you okay?
Yes.
Congratulations. Yeah, please give us the correct pronunciation for the record and go ahead with your testimony.
My name is Stacy Collier. I'm here today before you to tell you a little bit about my story. I am pretty much exactly what you named off on that list. I have come from a low-income family. I come from a split family. I come from a family of diverse backgrounds. And I also come from a family that has been stricken with a lot of the hardships and outcomes that are not very positive from those backgrounds. I have family members who are still battling addiction today. I grew up in that household. I was subjected and exposed to many forms of abuse that no child should ever be subjected to. I also have witnessed a lot of things that I'm pretty sure all of you who are parents, you have a list of things that you would never hope that your child ever experiences or is subjected to. Whatever that list is, I'm pretty sure that I have experienced all of them, but maybe one. And so I say that not necessarily to have pity or to feel sorry for. I say that because those things have defined who I am today, and they have made me who I am today. The really turning point for that was the fact that I had caring adults in my life that were kind of thrown and hurdled in there out of nowhere at the perfect and right time. In 5th grade, I was a part of an after-school program that intervened at the perfect time. A little backstory, I have an older sister who spent majority of her life incarcerated, as well as other close friends and siblings. And so, as you can imagine, I had a pretty limited scope of what was available to me out in the world. And so having caring adults that stepped in and made sure that I had food every day, as that was something that I struggled with that should be a normal necessity and right of every young person. Also made sure that my education stayed on track. Coming from a family that is battling addiction, certain things like your children's education is not a priority. And so between the age of kindergarten to second grade, I missed between 200 and 250 days of school. So if you can imagine what type of educational impact that has on a young person. So I struggled a lot in my younger years, but luckily with my after-school program, I received tremendous amount of tutoring and support in order for me to get back up to grade level. And then I also received support after I aged out of my school. So went on to high school, and my mentors stayed with me through my life. And so that was something that they didn't have to do. They made sure to check in on me. They knew what high school I was going to, made sure to regularly make sure that I was on track with everything. And they gave me my first employment and my first jobs. They gave me access to scholarships so that I could attend school. I've graduated college. I'm a director at the YMCA, and I work in intervention services now, those same services that I received when I was young. And the impact that has had on my life, it has given me my purpose and my calling. I'm pretty sure that had I not had adults and programs intervene in my life, I would be taking up a space right now in a jail cell, or if not, in other places. I've lost so many of my peers to violence, from gang affiliation as well as from drug overdoses. I just got a call last week that one of my friends has been admitted and almost lost their life that I went to grade school with. And so as you can imagine, I'm working now with these young people who are coming from similar backgrounds and situations. And it's been so impactful and powerful because I'm able to actually relate to my young people and to the community in which we serve, and allow them to know that there are other opportunities, but this wouldn't be possible unless there was funding to allow me to be in those spaces with these young people, to offer them the same interventions that I received, to walk with them through their treatments as they're battling addiction, to assist them in getting out of the life of finding means to support themselves that subject them to a lot of other different harms. And I work with these young people day in and day out. And like I said, for me, I'm one of, I guess you would say, the lucky ones that was able to receive continuous services throughout my life and never wavered from that. And like I said, it's not a sad story. It's a great story because there are people out there that care, and there's funding out there that allowed these adults to come into my life and stay with me. My mentor actually was just my former executive director. He just left, but if that gives you any testament, from 5th grade till B30, to have the same caring adult in your life when you don't have many others is very impactful, no matter how old you are. So that's a little bit of my story.
Thank you. Representative Dean, did you have a question at this point?
Mr. Chair, I will delay my question until after testimony.
Okay. You're a remarkable young woman.
Thank you.
Who's next?
I will let my next testifier introduce himself.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. My name is Paul Munier. I'm the Executive Director of the Youth Intervention Programs Association. We are an association of about 240 organizations that work with young people, just like the testimony you heard. Members, I have to tell you, there are so many young people out there that don't have access to services. And they're growing up in these environments, these situations that if you asked yourself, if you were placed in that situation, how resilient would you be? How able would you be to overcome some of the things that we heard? And it's happening a lot. And one of the things we're trying to do is help people become contributing members of society. In public safety, you all have an incredibly difficult job to, it seems like the number one thing of an elected person is public safety. And the demands for services from adults is so high. The cost of public safety, the cost of corrections just keeps going like this. I heard yesterday there was testimony for $44 million more for corrections officers in the prisons. Sounds like that might be necessary, but what I'm asking you to consider and think deeply about what we're trying to do to bend that cost curve down just a little bit. It seems like you have two options. One is you could cut services, or the other is you could try to slow down the demand for adults that likely are going to be consuming adult intervention services the rest of their life through incarceration, drug and alcohol treatment, addiction, family abuse, things like that. And I have to tell you, every once in a while, members, somebody who isn't a big player here at the Capitol, somebody who doesn't have an army of people, might sit in front of you and have a really good idea of how we can improve public safety and how we can use our taxpayer dollars very wisely. And oh, by the way, produce people like this, who are contributing members, who are, Stacy, her smile is infectious. She's so sharp, she's so intelligent, and she's only one of about 300,000 youth that are growing up in this kind of environment in the state of Minnesota. Sometimes, members, people have a really good idea. We have a ton of support, a ton of bipartisan support to fund these youth intervention programs. Everybody we talk to gets it. You don't have to be a rocket scientist to figure out if we can help young people by spending very little money through intervention programs, avoid much bigger costs in the long run. The real difficult part we have is moving that support to funding. And somehow we need somebody somewhere to stand up and say, we have to take care of young people like Stacy here, because look at the outcome when we do. Members, I don't believe this is a complicated thing. When we all grew up, most of us had somebody who cared for us unconditionally, and on the other side of the coin, somebody who held us accountable and set high standards for us. If you don't have that as a young person, your chances of finding your niche in your community are pretty low. What we have to do is connect these people, these young people, to adults that can build trusting, caring relationships at the community level. I've said this, I think, to every one of you on this committee. I don't think the state of Minnesota is the answer to this, but I can tell you communities throughout the state are trying to deal with this, and they don't have enough funding to meet the needs of the kids in their community. And the state of Minnesota is picking up all the back-end costs when those local communities fail. These kids need to get connected at their local level. So I'm asking you to, somebody please be a champion and help young people grow up to be outstanding members of our community, like the testimony you just heard today. Thank you for your time, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Testifier, do you have more testifiers, Representative Ells?
Chair, I do not have any more testifiers.
Representative Dean?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and it's good to see you, Mr. Meunier, and Stacy, I'm sorry, I can't pronounce your last name. Thank you for being here. Your story sort of touches me in my life, and this is ultimately going to lead to my question. When we look at the services that the YIP programs provide, there sort of seems to be that cutoff around 18. And we all know that the adolescent brain doesn't get fully developed till 24. And the issues around executive function happens differently for different people. I'm curious, when you think of that cutoff period, and it sounds like you didn't experience that because by that time you had in place an incredible mentor that helped you through times that may have been difficult because, I mean, let's face it, becoming an adult is really, really hard. And I guess the question is, first off, 100% supportive. I think that, you know, if we're not investing money instead of spending money, that we're not doing it right here. And I think this is clearly one of those investments that have a huge, huge impact on ongoing costs in other areas. But if you could just talk about, the age groups and the focus and, what happens to someone that enters a program at like 17 and a half? What happens to them after that point? Because, as someone who was not exposed to programs like this in my adolescence, I ultimately, landed in the court system and the criminal justice system, which I think was probably not the best thing to happen to me, but at the same time, I think it was the best thing that happened to me, if that makes any sense. Mr. Chair, thank you.
Go ahead.
Mr. Chair, Representative Dean, you're absolutely correct about brain science. The statute itself says to work with young people between 6 of 18. The vast majority of our programs that work with the older kids continue to work with them past that age, because you can't just walk away from somebody because they're 18. If they're growing up in an environment where there's abuse or there's neglect or there's chemical abuse, just arbitrarily turning 19, 20, or 21 isn't going to be sufficient to help them. But we do know that the brain is fully developed and the executive functioning, hopefully, is formed by age 24, 25, and most of our programs don't go beyond that. But most of you are aware of the ACEs study, I'm sure. The medical community will tell you that toxic stress has a long-lasting, if not permanent, effect on brain development. So if you're middle school age and your father is abusing your mother and then you're supposed to go to school and learn algebra, your brain isn't developing the way most people will, and that's going to have a long-lasting impact on you. So, Representative, I hope I answered your question. Most of our programs that work with the older kids work with them beyond 18, even though the statute says 6 to 18.
I think you turned out pretty good.
Mr. Chair, I think there are some people that might debate that.
For those of you that have been on the committee for a few years, Representative Cornish brought in a group a couple years ago called Right on Crime, and not exactly what I would call flaming liberals, but they testified that they found a 10-to-1 return on money that was invested in youth programs. And that I thought was an outstanding testament to the work that they do. And again, I think Representative Cornish said he wished they had been around when he was younger too. Representative Johnson.
Chair Cornish, thank you.
Chair Cornish no longer here.
It's going to be a long day today. Well, thank you anyway. I'm going to be speaking in support of this program. It's a great program. It was 43 years ago in 1976, the legislature established this program as a 501c3. I don't know if the legislature planned on the state funding it for 43 years because they set it up as a 501c3, but it's a program that is well intended, it does a fabulous, fabulous work. But I think also this program was designed to work with the communities. And we need to work harder on getting the communities to get more involved, because it is for them that we do this program. In my community, we didn't have YIPA. We didn't have those programs when I was growing up. It was our churches and our communities and our civics groups that did things for the youth and worked with the youth, created programs for them. And it is fabulous for the kids, give them something to strive and be better. So the work you do is fabulous, it's worthwhile, but like I say, I hope that the communities are listening to this so that they do get involved, because it's important for the communities and the parents of these kids to be involved. That's going to make our communities better. Now, we want to try to keep kids out of the system, get them the help before they get into the system. And you know I think you know where I'm going with the personnel policies that law enforcement have. I hope they're listening. We've got to the point, because of lawsuits and everything else, that policies are so strict that law enforcement officers lose their job for not following the policy. Not that they broke the law, but they broke the policy. And our policy has gotten so strict, if they get to the point where they deal with something, what the policies dictate what they have to do. Because they talked to the kid who did something wrong, instead of dealing with it right then and there, giving them some type of diversion right on the street, working with their parents, they go into the system. And once into the system, it's a good chance they're doomed for failure. And where if we could have something, a minor incident can destroy a kid's life. Where if we have programs like this, if law enforcement could get the kids hooked up to these programs before they get into the system, they may never be in the system.
Representative Johnson, we actually have another bill, and we have 5 more people.
Yep, I'm just finishing
And we
up.
have some kids that want to testify
So
too.
I'm hoping the law enforcement community is also listening to take a look at their policies to allow law enforcement officers to do the job they need to do, keeping the public safe, but also protecting these kids.
Mr. Chair, can I just interject one thing? The
Sure.
Minnesota Sheriff's Association, the Minnesota County Attorneys Association, the Minnesota Chiefs of Police Association, and the Minnesota Juvenile Officers Association formally passed resolutions as youth intervention as a way to improve public safety in local communities.
Thank you. Okay, Representative Howard. And again, just remind everybody, we have another bill, and we have some youth that wish to testify. So if we could keep things short and succinct, that would be great.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'll be brief. I just want to thank Representative Adelson and the testifiers for carrying this really important bill. And, we talk a lot about in this committee about, how are we going to use dollars efficiently and the impact we're going to have. And the impact of the resources here are, as we've heard from Ms. Collier, they're life-changing. And that kind of life-changing impact is happening in all of our communities across the state. I had the opportunity with Representative Adelson to talk about some of that with Cornerstone, an organization in my community, but is doing amazing work throughout our entire region and state, in our schools, counseling youth that have been dealing with trauma. And just to underscore the individual impact that these dollars are having on youth are so important. And it leads to just one question, and you've hit on this a little bit, but this is one of those programs where all of us around here are going to say, yes, we support this, but at the end of the day, it becomes how much resources we're going to put behind this. And so if either the bill author or any folks could testify, what are we talking here about, $1 million of this program? How many students will be served? How many youth will be served by the resources we could be putting towards this initiative?
Mr. Munoz?
Mr. Chair, Representative, thank you. As I mentioned, you're really just supporting community-based programs. So the average cost per kid that the state pays is $200. The vast majority of the money is being picked up at the local level. So roughly for every $1 million advocated, you're positively impacting 5,000 youth. I mean, that's how the numbers work out. I don't know how else to explain it. This is how much is allocated. These are many kids are being touched. It's amazing because you're really just supporting the local level. I'm not asking the state, or nobody's asking the state to be these programs. We're just saying, help the local community so you don't have to pick up all the costs in the back end. So about 5,000 per million.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Follow-up? No. Representative Grossel.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And thank you, testifiers and representative, for bringing this forward. Just a brief, when I was a deputy sheriff, I knew the families in the area, and I knew the kids that were on the edge. And I'd go and find them. I'd go and find them on those Friday nights, Saturday nights, when they're gathered up, and just sit and visit with them. Just sit and visit with them and listen, and try to give them some sound counsel and guidance, and also every little bit that we can do to keep them out of the backseat of my squad car, keep them out in the community. That's outstanding. So anything we can do to make sure that this keeps moving forward, that's a good thing.
Thank you, Representative Grossel. Reasonably short. Representative O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. They had referenced the ACEs study, and it was fun. I went to a training about a year ago about the ACEs score and several studies that have been done. And what was most interesting to me about that particular training was that when you have children with high ACEs score and you track them through life, you find that there's sort of a divergent trajectory. So you've got those that are first responders, EMT, police, fire. So these, high stress, emergency responder type people. And then you have the criminality. So there's this divergence of, the helpers and then those that didn't get help. And so it's interesting to see, as you had referenced that the difference is intervention. The difference is there is, a mentor, an adult that actually helps bring healing to that life. And so they want to help others as opposed to kind of tear others down or be more self-centered or things like that. So it's great what you're doing. And even you mentioned the ACEs study. I'm like, oh, that's just so timely because that is something that is sort of emerging. And I know Representative Edelson could probably speak to that for hours, I'm sure. But just to briefly talk about that. So thank you for referencing that and realizing that that completely changes that trajectory of someone's life.
Thank you.
Representative Poston.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Chair Edelson, I'd just like to echo what several representatives have said. Thank you for bringing this bill. I think this is a great program. I think they do an awesome job. And I think this is money very well spent today, and it will save us money in the future. So thank you.
Okay, is there anybody that wishes to provide public testimony? Not seeing anyone. Representative Edelson, would you like to have the last word and renew your motion?
Sure. I want to thank you, members. It's really, it's nice when we can come together on legislation that helps kids. I don't think the public knows how bipartisan we can actually be. So every child needs somebody that believes in them, and I know that our committee knows that. So I would like to renew my motion to have this bill laid over for possible inclusion in the omnibus bill.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.